D8 Dungeon Network and Beholder Mark Media are proud to announce the Roz Graypurse After School Special is sponsored by Call Centaurs.
Could you use a person and a horse in your life? Are you looking for some serious horseplay? Real-life centaurs are waiting to take your call right now. Why wait? We guarantee you won't say no to these sexy stallions. Pick up that sending stone and dial 555, half horse, half person. Call centaurs, always out to stud. Oh, wait. How after school is this after school special? Never mind. Where's my sending stone? Wait. Hang on. Oh, Bonnie, Araeus, happiness. What are you doing going to a library? I mean, I expect this kind of behavior from Arktimus. He's a bit of a nerd, but a library. Oh, how many times did I tell them no one cool goes to a library? Oh, my reputation's ruined just by associating with those four. Oh well. Now, where did I put that sending stone? Mama wants to talk to a sexist centaur. Or two.
Araeus, Arktimus, Bonnie, and Happiness. The four of you find yourselves in the dusty, long-abandoned committee room for the Heatherbirds Society. Overhead, about 40 feet suspended in the air, you have found the first half of Roz Graypurse's mysterious thesis. Just as it seemed that luck had turned in your favour, and you were one step closer to kind of saving the day, the portraits on the walls of former members of the Heatherbird Society spring to life and lurch in that weird anime style battle is about to happen type motion. Can all of you give me I was about to say a dex saving throw, an initiative roll?
That's 5 from me.
Just wanted to make sure I still had a 0 bonus to initiative. 15.
That's an 8 from me. I've got a +4 to my initiative.
Ooh. 21.
Oh,
Ooh.
horse girl.
I was going to say horsepower. Not the 60. Yay, I made a car joke.
Are you proud of me now, Paul? Are you proud of me now? Bonnie, you see portraits of these, like, all the people that are depicted in them, this is obviously across decades. And you can tell, you knew that kind of coming into the room in the first place because all their stylings were slightly different. You're not quite sure who they are. You recognized Professor Vess and you recognized Administrator Shufflebawtam, but you haven't really had a chance to investigate the room before these attacked. What are you doing?
I mean, I'm not best pleased that we are in this situation, but, we better make the most of it. How long is the table in this, conference? You said there's sort of like a conference room.
There was, yeah. There was a long table. It's about 25 feet long with tall, high-backed chairs, all of which have been cushioned with kind of a purple velour cushioning. Okay,
I want to move away from everyone else and go and stand at the opposite end of the room, ideally on a chair, actually, because I'm going to cast Thunderwave, aiming, hopefully, the cube as much upwards as possible as one can do on something from yourself. So that is, what's my spell save? Is a spell save DC of 14 on a Constitution saving throw. Each creature in a 15-foot cube. So I'm just trying to get as many of these portraits within that. And any unsecured objects will also be pushed around, which will be fun.
Arktimus, Araeus, and cut it. The thesis. I'm literally just going to call the thesis from now on. Artemis, Araeus, and Happiness, you just see Bonnie kind of like duck down and then run towards the table, hop up onto one of the high-backed chairs, lift her hands up over her head and just kind of like shut her eyes very, very tightly, and then slam her two hands together, making kind of a clap. But it's not a celebratory clap, it's not an applause, it's that thing that someone does to kind of get everybody's attention. And just as the two palms of her hands hit together, this wave of thunderous magic just erupts straight out of her, out and upwards. And the portraits, all of them are struck by this. The few books and the odd trinket that were on the table, things covered in dust sheets and so on and so forth, are all sent upwards into the air, and there is a cloud of dust everywhere. You hear the clattering of objects and the banging of wood against stone and metal against stone as the portraits are actually slammed back to where they came flying from the walls from. Damage?
6. On a success,
Ooh.
half as much on a failure, and any that failed are pushed, 10 feet away. And any unsecured objects are also pushed 10 feet away.
Perfect. You've cleared a huge space in front of you. This is the one part of the room that, all that dust has just been blown off of.
And I'll stay on the chair for now.
As the three of you see Bonnie do this, some of the portraits that had flung themselves from the wall have slumped and just fallen straight to the ground. They're not moving again. But 6 of the larger ones, 2 of which you recognize Vess and Agatha from, shake themselves off. And the portraits of the women painted inside are all now scowling very dismissively of that action. They look rather upset.
Well,
any bonus action, Bonnie?
understandable. I will cast Shillelagh on my quarterstaff. Just
Awesome.
to be ready.
And is this your breakfast club?
No, this is my my quarterstaff with a horse carved into the top.
Oh yes, okay. Again, you're all kind of slightly surprised to see Bonnie being the first to jump into action, and then following that with the destruction of school property. As much as it is abandoned and whatnot, it's a little bit like, wow, what's in that thesis? But
Look, the school property was about to damage me, so,
fair enough.
Bonnie's thinking is just, if it's going to attack me,
damage it
yes,
first.
exactly. This is all perfectly logical.
With a kind of and you see Bonnie just kind of like stamp her right foot, and then kind of like, and it's that full thing that horses do, where they stamp the ground a couple of times and then they kick back the dirt a little bit. She knocks her quarterstaff on the top of the chair and casts Shillelagh, and the quarterstaff itself, the wood kind of hardens a little bit more, and it becomes a little bit more robust in your hands. Arktimus.
How far away would all of them kind of roughly be from us?
At this point, probably 45 to 50 feet, because ye had just come into the room when all this kind of really kicked off.
Are they kind of surrounding us, or...?
They were a semicircle of portraits. The 6 that are remaining are now kind of a semicircle that are kind of lifting themselves up off the ground and kind of beginning to float towards ye again.
Okay. Because Arktimus is honestly shocked, because he was thinking Thunderwave, and Bonnie of all people, he's thinking, oh my god, she actually had a good idea. He can't believe it, and it's like, oh, she's quite literally stolen my thunder. Not sure what to do. He's actually going to pick up his weirdly scientific wand, which he got as an Xmas present from his mother, and he's been trying to figure out this weirdly scientific wand since he got it, and not knowing what else to do. He is going to whip out his wand. Yep. And he is going to...
Seeing his mother, by the way, I'd like to point out.
Yeah, there's a lot. Arktimus has got issues. He's going to attempt to cast a spell from the wand. So here I roll a d8.
Yes.
To see what happens. Okay, that is cocked. It's not landed on anything. A 3. What's 3?
Magic missile.
They're all one target, are they? Or they're all...
So there are 6. So you can pick kind of any kind of flavoring of them, and I'll
Since they're right there, the 3 in the middle. Oh well, no.
Okay.
If I can favor, he recognizes, I suppose, Professor Vess is the necromancy.
Yes, the Dean of
who he is,
Necromancy.
Dean of Necromancy, whose classes he is taking. Then one at random, and then one, of course, dear old Mumsy.
Awesome. Yeah, roll for damage.
4 force damage for the first one, directed at Vess. 2 force damage to the random portrait, and 5 force damage to Mama.
Oh, yeah. We can unpack that later on in Roz.
Thank you.
As you so eloquently put it yourself, your thunder is stolen by Bonnie. You whip out a wand from a notch in your belt, just kind of like, from a loop around your belt. And all of you see this paperweight. It literally, it looks like a novelty paperweight in the shape of a wand, but Arktimus kind of waves it around a little bit, gives it a couple of taps on the side, scrunches his face, and then just gestures violently, and 3 fragments of light just shoot from the wand and just whiz around the room, striking the portraits in front of you. Happiness, you note one of them hits his mom's picture a lot harder than the others. Like, I mean, they've all been hit with magic missile, but this one, like, it got her like right between the eyes. It was a bit, yeah. Any bonus action?
Say, no, you clean your room, Mummy. Bonus action. I don't, unless I... no, I don't need that. No, I'm good.
The portraits are the one of Vess and Agatha and what looks to be a Leonin gentleman, the third one that you had hit. They actually shake themselves. You see the heads inside kind of shake a little bit as if the person painted has been afflicted with the attack. Those 3 pictures, they rise up for a moment, and immediately, out of nowhere, some of the debris, Bonnie, that you had flicked and flitted across the room with Thunderwave levitates as they cast Magic Stone aimed at Arktimus, Bonnie, and Happiness. So I'll make my attack rolls. They're not particularly adept at this. That is an 11 to hit Arktimus.
That's a miss.
An 11 to hit Bonnie.
Miss.
And then 14 to hit Happiness.
So, yeah, hit.
If only they'd been like even slightly the other way around.
Yeah. What do I take?
2. You take 2 damage. Some of the clutter that had been flung around the place, it just levitates up, and you see the portraits just kind of concentrating on it as 3 more move toward, like, into the room towards you. Loads of stationery flits up. A couple of dust bunnies are flung at you as well, and the portraits don't have a particularly good aim. But Happiness, you are actually struck on your left shoulder by a stapler. It is Araeus.
Seeing all this, Araeus is going to slap a... You know how some people have like their wallets on a chain? Araeus has his boombox on an elastic for reasons. He jams a cassette in there, swings it and throws it into the middle of where all these ghosts are. I need them all to make con saves as Thunder is the name of the game today as he casts Shatter.
They fail on a 3.
They fail. Well, they're going to take 3d8 thunder damage. That is 17 thunder damage. In addition, a non-magical object that isn't being worn or carried also takes damage if it's in the spell's area. But only non-magical things.
Oh, well, they are magical.
Yeah, yeah.
But everything else surrounding, fuck you, Stapler, that's our friend.
Yeah. Get the stapler. Oh, dear.
All the pencils just go.
Nobody tries to staple my friends. Only I get to do that.
That's it. Only I get to give them bad improvised piercings that I'm not trained to do.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
Hold still.
Stop squirming. The bonus action, he's going to turn towards Happiness and say, here's looking at you, kid. That is Bardic Inspiration. But I think it's more like...
With a little condensation.
It's a D6 for whatever the heck you want.
You all watch as Araeus... do you untether a rubber band? I'm not. Unclips, untethers.
Well, I think it's attached to the elastic, so he throws it out.
Oh, he throws it out.
It does the the thing,
Spell, it comes back.
the noise, and then it comes back like
yeah.
like a ridiculous anime weapon.
You could say it reverbs.
Brilliant.
It reverbs. Yes.
Oh, is there an anti-inspiration I can give you?
Yeah, you could kill us.
Stapler.
Staples
Yes,
fall and you
Shove
die.
a stapler up your head.
Staples fall, everybody dies. Yeah.
All of you see Araeus chuck this strange, and he kind of carries it everywhere with him. He's attached to it as much as it is attached to him and the rubber band on his pants. It just slides across the table. The top of it opens up, and Arktimus, you can see Araeus kind of like lip syncing to. He's definitely lip syncing. His voice screeches out of the box, but he's lip syncing to the. It's all very performative. The energy from his voice and the magic contained in the boombox just explodes outwards. And the portraits are, again, blasted back against the wall and to the sides as they kind of ruffle themselves into shape and kind of try and gather themselves again. Happiness, you can hear Araeus' voice just outside your ear canal. Like, it's uncomfortably there.
You're doing a really good job.
The portraits are in bits. They are looking very banged up.
While Araeus was doing his performance, she was quite distracted by the fact that she got hit by a stapler. So she was just generally like rubbing her shoulder where it hit, looking at it, making sure it didn't affect her clothes and all of that. And then she hears this in her ear and she's like, "Ah, jeepers." And takes a step back.
Don't touch me.
Yeah. And kind of rubs her ear a little bit, like, and shakes her head. Do I know which one threw the stapler?
If you had to guess, it was probably Professor Vess.
Okay. And she will jump up on the table and be like, "Hey, Bonbon, that was wild." And cast Burning Hands at Vess and be like, "I did not like that."
Awesome.
So that's a Dex save of 13.
Okay. What's the range on that as well?
Oh, sorry. It comes from her hands and it's a creature in a 15-foot cone. So if I'm on the table...
So you'll get the other three beside her. You'll get Agatha and you'll get the Leonin as well.
Perfect, but yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Ooh, fire on an oil painting as well. That'd be good.
That is 3.
Okay, so that's a fail.
Oh,
So 3d6. So that's 1. That's not great. 3 is 4. And 5 is 9.
Bonnie, you see Happiness climb up onto the table in like one kind of hop, and then she stands up, dusts herself off a little bit, gives you a very uncomfortable nod and because it was a little bit like, "Sorry, are you talking to me?" Like, okay. And then just turn her hands outwards. Her hair lights up. Then it starts to smoke a little bit, and you can actually see flames wisping throughout the huge mound of hair that sits atop her head and her shoulders. She throws her hands out and a cone of fire just erupts from her fingertips, enveloping the desk and the 3 portraits of Professor Vess, Agatha Shufflebawtam, and the Leonin. They writhe in the way that you would imagine a person would, just for a second. It's like an animated thing that they do back and forth. The oil burns and the faces drip down in a very ghastly manner. Shockingly enough, Agatha's one, as it melts, it kind of seems to resemble how she will age, as it just kind of wrinkles and folds over itself a little bit. It's very odd. The portraits ignite and are burned to cinders a lot faster than you thought they would. Happiness. Bonus action.
No, I don't have any.
Okay. The other 3 portraits are still kind of floating in the air. They do that kind of like, they turn to look at their burned portrait friends and then look back. And the 3 people inside are scowling very angrily. There's 2 tieflings, a man and a woman. He's a pale green, she's a deep rouge. And you see a wood elf woman with a shaved head. They're all just scowling very, very angrily at the 3 of you. All of them wearing their brooches with the purple feather. They continue their attack on the group. Bonnie, as you ready yourself to bring the pain, that voice echoes in the room again. These chambers are for heather birds only. Kindly remove yourselves, or we'll call security. Have a nice day. Asswipes. Bonnie.
I'm actually not going to bring the pain. I think Bonnie has, after casting Thunderwave, thought to herself, like, oh no, I just made a really loud noise in the library. That's bad. So she's like, why are we here in the first place? And she looks up to the book and she's like, oh, that's why we're here. Okay. And she's going to cast Summon Beast. As much as she wants to summon a horse, she is not going to. She's going to summon an air. So, summoning a bestial spirit, I'm going to choose an air spirit, which can fly. So, I'm going to cast it. And I imagine that for Bonnie, these all look a little bit like horses. So, this is just a sort of horsey, tiny bird. Which then she's like, summons it. And then she can tell it what to do. So, she tells it, fly up and see if you can grab the book as its action. So it takes its action after her. So that's her action, is to summon this little creature that's going to hang around for a bit. And everyone's doing okay. The portraits have been taking more damage than us, so I think she's going to hop back down from the chair and just kind of back away so she's not too near any shrapnel and staplers.
You all see Bonnie kind of just give her quarterstaff kind of a stir. It's like she's kind of mixing the air in front of her. She's concentrating very, very hard as she kind of takes a step back down from the chair, and just from the top of the quarterstaff there is a whoosh of smoke and dust. And at first there is a horse. There is just a tiny little horse, and Bonnie kind of looks at it for a second and then shakes her head and is like, no, it's not the time. The horse transforms into a horse fly. It's a horse fly bird. So it's part horse fly, part horse, and part bird. In a weird, oh my god, I wanted to make a horse, but it also has to fly, but I couldn't think of a Pegasus. Crap, what flies? Birds fly, horse flies. Got it. And now there's this weird...
nightmare creature.
Yes. made of air energy.
So beautiful.
Yes. It's the head of the horse and the body of a horse. And it's basically just a horse. It gallop flies up into the air. And Bonnie, as you take a step back and you kind of get a chance to kind of take stock of the situation. 3 of the portraits are down. There's only 3 left. No one seems to have been hurt. Happiness has a tear on the back of her sweater she hasn't seemed to notice just yet. Possibly where she got hit with that stapler and it ripped, or a loose staple may have caught it.
This bitch has got to die.
You do not want to be the person to tell her. You watch as your air spirit flies up straight towards the book. And when it does, there's a zapping sound. And the horse air spirit is just, it blinks out of existence as the magic is dissipated.
How rude.
Arktimus.
Yeah, just before he does anything, did Arktimus recognize the voice that was echoing?
It sounded, because it's the voice from your nightmares, it sounded a little bit like Agatha.
But younger, maybe?
Well, in that way that she's an old soul, so she's probably always sounded a little older. You do recognize it, but you're not 100% certain as to why. It may be that she was a heatherbird at one point. She is a Mystian administrator, so maybe she just did the voiceover for the library alarm system. It's a thought that's there, and it's kind of, it's agitating the sides of your mind, but you've more pressing issues in front of you.
He'll step up to or move a little closer to the remaining portraits to get within 10 feet of them. And he's going to use his electro-converger, and he fires out a bolt of electricity at them. So that is a DC 13 dex save for a 10-foot cone.
That is a 14.
Yeah, so it'd be half damage. 8 damage, so they only take 4 damage, lightning damage. And then each time I use the electro-converger, I have to roll a d10, and I add the number of times I've used it since my last long rest, and if the total's higher than 11, it basically blows up and I can't use it. So D10, 8 plus 3 is 11. The pyroconverger explodes, and I take 46 damage. So I take 13 lightning damage.
As you hold the gauntlet up and out. Your mother's voice, the garish, melting portrait, all of it a nightmare that therapists for years will attempt to dig through for you. You raise the gauntlet up and out, and it starts to spin and rotate. And as it spins, a few of the gyro joints in it that are whirling, they're not behaving the way they should be. The electricity is arcing from it. All the hair on your body, all the hair on your beard, your head, all of it is standing up and out. The electricity that it has pulled in, it isn't contained, and as it blasts outwards, and the three portraits, it arcs from one to the other, are all struck, and you see them kind of jitter and vibrate for a split second, and then that clunking becomes a grinding of metal, and it explodes on your arm. Your whole body courses with electricity. You are fully static. For the next 4 hours, all the hair on your body is standing up and out. Eyebrows, beard, hair, arm hair, leg hair, the works. Yeah. Anybody you touch will take a 1d4 static damage.
He goes to the shops after this, like it's packed. It's Black Friday, and there's just commoners dropping.
Zap.
And as a bonus action, he's going to use the second of his 2 defensive fields to get 4 temporary hit points.
Cool. The portraits. 2 of them lunge forward as one of the portraits, and it's that dark rouge tiefling woman. Her eyes light up, and they fix on you, Bonnie. This particular tiefling woman. Her as she's kind of staring at you. You start to feel a little bit weak as she casts, or as the portrait rather, casts Ray of Sickness at you. Can you give me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Let's do it, not bad. 12.
Take 7 poison damage, Bonnie, as you kind of look at it, and it's that weird optical illusion type thing. It's like there isn't a ray of energy that shoots from its eyes at all. It's just the painting actually shifts in a really slightly kind of mesmerizing, and then it's very nauseating. It's almost like car sickness, or carriage sickness that hits you, and your whole stomach just kind of twists in knots. And you do your best to not throw up. You've also been poisoned.
Oh no, Bonnie's sick. We're going to have to take her round back and shoot her.
Off to the glue factory.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The other 2 portraits bear down on top of you, Arktimus and Araeus. They are just going to try and go for the old faithful smash.
Araeus is, to the one that's coming for him, Araeus is going to go, "You're basic." Casting Silvery Barbs.
Well, Silvery Barbs, it forces them to take the lower roll.
Yes, they've got to roll at disadvantage, yeah.
So I actually hit you for a 23, and then you made me re-roll, and then I rolled a nat 1. So the other one, as it kind of flies towards you, Arktimus, like I'm assuming an 11 doesn't hit.
No.
It swats at you. It's a picture frame. Like you're just able to kind of like no, and you kind of just swat it back. Stop that. The other one, the tiefling man, the portrait inside it, for some reason, Araeus, it not only hears you, it understands you when you call it basic. It starts to weep, and there are literally oily tears just dripping down its face. And it's now just crying into its hands. You have a free action on it.
Someone's got advantage on their next D20 roll. Gonna give it to Arktimus. Why not?
Okay.
I'm gonna do the speak action and just go. And your hair looks bad. That's vicious mockery with save, please.
Oh, that's a nat 20. It just whips its head back up from its hands as it hears you say, and its hair looks bad. No, it doesn't. The hair actually looks immaculate. The face is now ruined. The face is now an oily mess. It's just like forget mascara that's run. The face looks like a woman in Spain tried to repaint it.
When this painting like flips its hair up, Araeus' eyes get like the anime thing of just like it's got sparkles in the eyes.
It's now your action as well, Araeus.
Cool. Araeus is rapidly running out of spell slots. These are not humanoids, which, fun fact, as a bard, humanoids are what you want to be fighting. And as such, is it within 5 feet of me?
The 3 portraits are within 5 feet of all of you at this stage.
Araeus is just going to be like, oh shit, and then just stab them. He just like takes it, like he flicks the dagger out of his long. He's used his thumbs to put holes in the end of his jumper. The hand quickly retracted, and there's just like a little craft knife. Just gonna try and shank a ghost. It's like Rent a Ghost. That is a no. It's a 12.
That hits.
Nice. For a grand total of 5 piercing damage, and I'm going to use one of my bardic inspirations to inflict psychic blade damage on it as well. 5, so it's got 5 piercing damage and a disappointing 2 from 2d6 psychic damage.
Well, that's enough. As the painting kind of comes face to oily mess face level with you, you slip a small craft knife out from under your sleeve and you just pop a hole right in the canvas. So you just literally and then just kind of wiggle the blade around a little bit. The portrait, the magic just wafts off of it and it collapses in a heap.
It's probably a forgery.
Happiness, because your bonus action was the bardic.
I have no idea actually whether that is. No, I can just do it as part of my action.
Okay.
But I don't have a bonus action that I want to use at this point.
Cool. Happiness.
She's gonna try fly up to where the book is in her little cute flying boots. So she's gonna fly up to beside it and try use Mage Hand to grab it if possible.
Happiness, as you fly up towards the book, and it's just suspended there in the top of the room. The boots that you're wearing, they start to feel a little heavy. The magic that's woven into the fibers starts to wane a little bit, and as you reach out and a spectral form of your hand reaches up towards the book, the well manicured hand reaches for the book and then vanishes. You're about 10 feet in the air. Your boots don't seem to get you any closer.
She'll drop back down and be like, what on earth is happening? I don't understand. I hate this. Can we just go back?
Bonnie.
So, can I just clarify with that? Is it that she just can't get close, or that her hand actually sort of like phases?
She couldn't get close. The boots levitated her up to a point, and then the magic didn't seem to be able to go any further. And then she cast Mage Hand out.
And that also didn't work.
And as Mage Hand reached for it, it dissipated.
Right, okay, got you. Okay, cool. Okay, so there's 2 left. I'm poisoned, so Bonnie is silently weeping for her lost horsebird and trying not to be sick. So she's like, not in any fit state to try and attack anything. So I'm going to... How high up are the portraits are next to us now?
There, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cast Entangle on the area around us. A creature in the area where you cast the spell must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by the entangling plants until the spell ends. A creature restrained by the plants can use its action to try and get out. So it's DC 14. Now, I would ideally like to be able to put it in a place that hits more of the portraits than it does everyone else. But that may not, given it's quite a small room, some of us may
Yes.
also be involved. So I'm also looking around at everyone. I'm like, who of my friends is the buffest? Because this is a strength save.
It's probably you.
Arktimus is +2.
Okay, so yeah, I try and like position it so it's, if Arktimus is going to get stuck, that's okay, but I try maybe to avoid, let's say I try and avoid happiness, if I can only maybe avoid one person getting in this square.
Okay. Given that you're all kind of bunched up a little bit, I would say, and happiness had kind of flown up and is coming
Yes.
down, I would say you can safely avoid hitting Araeus yourself and happiness. But Arktimus, I'm going to need to give me a strength saving throw as well. The portraits have failed, so they are going to be wrapped in the
Nice.
weeds and vines.
Ooh, 6 + 2 is 8.
Ah, sorry, you are also restrained.
Restrained.
Oh, Arktimus, you've got advantage on that save because of silvery barbs.
Silvery Bubs. 11 + 2 is 13.
It is 14. Bonnie like casts it and sees you getting stuck in it as well, and she's like, I'm sorry. It seemed like the best thing to do at the time.
A window in the room opens, and it opens with a groan here. A lot of the hinges in the library need to be tended to, need to be oiled. And as you hear the sound, Araeus, that would actually make for a good sample. You're not sure what you'd use it for, but you should probably go back and collect it at some point.
Araeus remembers this.
All of you see just spindling vines of ivy just crawling in over the window, and as a bushel of it does, it kind of looks over at you, Bonnie. It kind of gives you a weird nod. It just kind of nods at you and then slithers down over the windowsill, up along the floor, the table and the chairs, ensnarls the two portraits, and they are wrapped in this, and they're struggling to kind of get free, and spindles of ivy just kind of shoot from it. And Arktimus, your gauntlet, even though it's still sparking and smoking a little bit, is wrapped. Both your hands are now trapped in these ivy chains, and you are ensnared. Bonus action, Bonnie.
No extraction.
Okay. Arktimus, with your new ivy cufflinks, it's your action.
Yeah, so he's restrained, and I'm assuming it's just used his action to try break out. I'm guessing, is that how
You can make a
it's
strength
work?
check. Yeah.
Check. Okay, 14, just 12 +
Yep.
2. He'll move as best he can. He'll move out of the area of the vines, assuming he's not going to get. Even if he's going to get an attack of opportunity somehow, I think he'll take his chances.
No, because the other two portraits are restrained. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's ivy, Arktimus, and you just snap it. You just break it. You're just literally just pull it apart, and you kind of sidestep around it. When you do, you see that the room is in an absolute mess. I mean, it was dusty and disused. Now it's destroyed. There was tall shelves with like books and trinkets in them. One of them is just smashed into bits. The desk at the far end of the room that seemed to be like where maybe the president or vice president would have sat is on fire. There's a smouldering heap of oil paintings burning at the back.
Yeah, I'm guessing he saw Happiness attempting to fly up and do the main. He doesn't know, but he is theorizing that there is an anti-magic field surrounding the book because her boots stopped working when they got up that high and her mage hand disappeared, and he's debating whether or not if he next time around, if he summons his homunculus servant, it's technically he creates it using magic, as I think if it goes into the field, it temporarily winks out of existence, is the phrasing that's used, I think. Anti-magic, but he's not sure. He might attempt it.
I thought you were just going to say it temporarily winks. It gets there, it turns directly to camera.
Wink.
With the paintings now mostly taken care of and restrained, his focus, his attention till his turn comes around, he's fascinated by this.
And the paintings are struggling. My eyes rolling and my head thrown back to the ceiling there was the fact that I rolled a 2 to see if they break through the restraints. They do not.
Your dice are really bad today, bud.
I am swapping them out. I'm definitely going to swap them out. These are garbage. They seem to be kind of struggling against it. Outside, Araeus, you can hear footsteps approaching.
Uh-oh. Araeus is going to turn towards the door, which presumably there is. And I would like...
It's just behind you, yeah.
I would like to... Rage. No. I would like to... Oh god, I'm going to run out of spell slots, but I don't care. I'm going to hold the cast a spell action, and the condition is I'm going to cast Calm Emotions when someone opens the door and comes in.
Okay.
At the door on the people.
Gotcha.
And the way he prepares it is he just kind of like holds the boombox in front of him, and you see there's just like suddenly there's a headset that's just appeared out of nowhere, and you see on his face like he's just about to start saying relax, relax, relax.
All of you witness this. You see the state the room is in. You see the tangled portraits. Araeus seems utterly unfazed by all of it. Turns to face the door, boombox held aloft, and just seems to concentrate on just that. Happiness, it's your action.
She's pissed off she couldn't go up and get the book, so she's just gonna aim for the two remaining portraits with Scorching Ray. Yep, so I'll aim for the two of them with that. So 2 on one and 1 on the other. That is 16 plus 4, so that's 20 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
So that's 3 and 4 is 7.
With almost laser eyes, and all of you have seen this particular look on Happiness's face. She doesn't like to carry it for too long because, wrinkles. But her brow furrows and her eyes are now burning with a red-hot, intense rage. And a scorching ray just shoots from her eyes and burns through the two remaining portraits, singeing the ivy vines that were restraining them. They catch on fire, light up, and turn to ash.
I have to do everything around here.
I'm really glad I was out of those vines.
How do we get the book?
Not with magic. Are those footsteps still coming closer as well?
They're effectively, you have what I'm going to argue is kind of one round before they're at the door.
So Bonnie, you all know that Bonnie is very good at fading into the background. And so she says, I learnt a spell that helped me with this, you guys. I can do Pass Without Trace, and we could all try and hide, in the rubble. And you just don't move, and just try not to look too, as if you aren't furniture. I found it very effective in the past if people are mad at me, and I just pretend I'm not there.
Okay,
Oh, buddy.
I can do it on all of us if we want.
That's a lot of trauma, but it sounds like a great plan.
I get it.
I feel I've done it on I think I've probably done it on art before, to help us hide from Agnes going past. So yeah, I'll drop obviously Entangle and cast Pass Without a Trace on everyone, which will give us all a +10 bonus on dexterity stealth checks, and you can't be tracked apart from magical means. So I'm cast it on all of us, and I immediately try and find some sort of curtain or little table or something to hide under.
Okay, so Bonnie, you're hiding under the table, having cast Pass Without Trace.
And that can be everyone
Arktimus
in the area.
Everyone in that space. Okay.
Quick, Araeus, get your knife, cut face holes out of the paintings, and we'll stand behind them all.
They're dust.
Some of the melty ones might be right in the corner.
Abstract.
Jesus, yeah, he's going to look around frantically for some kind of a hiding place in his big clunky, steampunky Iron Man armor. And is there anywhere that looks like it might hide him convincingly in the debris around the room?
The closest thing that you could probably see is a tapestry hanging on the walls that you would just have to stand behind.
Yeah, he's gonna attempt that stealth check. Oh, hang on, no disadvantage for my big clunker.
But then plus 10.
Ooh, with disadvantage, a plus 10 gets you fucking nothing on a nat 1.
Oh no. Oh no! I meanwhile rolled my stealth and I got a nat 20. So I've got 30 stealth. So I'm just like, you just see Bonnie is just gone immediately. As soon as she's like, yeah, I'm really, really good at feeding into the background.
It's full on Arnold Schwarzenegger, covered in mud, hiding from the predator.
And then just clunk.
Happiness and Araeus, what are you doing?
Araeus is going to see everyone else hiding and go, oh, and is going to, fuck, this is stupid. Are there any lamps?
Like,
yeah, like tall lamps, floor lamps, yeah.
Sure, there is. There's one in every corner. Well, there's now 3 because one is on fire.
Oh, really? Is it still on fire?
Yes, it's smouldering. Yeah.
Shit. Araeus is going to go stand in one of the corners that's not on fire.
Okay.
Kick the lampshade over and put the lampshade on the head and just sort of stand there.
Perfect.
Can I roll a stealth check?
Is there a curtain? Or does the room have any windows? It probably doesn't, does it?
There's the window that the vines came through.
Okay, yeah, so I would like to stand behind the curtain.
Okay.
That's with pass without trace, that's a 32 on my stealth check.
You are a lamp.
I love lamp.
Yeah.
Actually, this is perfect if everyone disappears apart from Ark. They'll be fine.
Mom!
I don't know what happened.
My stealth was an 8.
With the plus 10.
With the plus 10.
18.
Nice.
Oh, okay. That is, I was like, are you -2? And rolled a 0. The door opens just as Happiness, you slip behind the curtain. You just managed to catch an eyeful of Araeus putting a lampshade on his head and just standing very neatly on a fixed point. From the corner of your eye, you can see where you can clearly see Arktimus behind the tapestry. Like the whole lower bottom half of him is just exposed. Like it's just you can just see the.
I'm just imagining him stepping on a loose thread and the whole thing just like
unraveling.
Slowly unraveling.
The door opens, and there's the sound of very thin, pointy heels clacking on the wood and stone floor. And Araeus, you've covered your head, so you can't see.
But I can see with my ears.
You can see what you hear.
Actually, I'm telepathic.
Well, I tell you what. Even the fact that you are just a creep for sound, you can discern whose footsteps they are. I will give you that. I appreciate that. I will give you that.
He's gonna in his head. He's gonna reach out to Bonnie and be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Bonnie's little eyes are like peering through 2 knots in a wooden table. Like one hopes it's a wooden table to sort of see like what is happening.
And Happiness from the lofty position of the curtains, you were also able to see who's come through the door. As Agnes Shufflebawtam steps in, Professor Vess just behind her. They move into the room, and you just hear, what is... Oh, Agnes, you said you got rid of this room. It's a tad on the nose, don't you think? Like it's... And Agnes is, oh, well, I'm a bit sentimental. And her eyes drift over at the tapestry. Arky? Hello, Mum. Puddin' Pup, what are you doing hiding behind the tapestry?
I've lost control of my armor, and I couldn't control it and went I went in a bit of a tizzy and it went on a rampage. I can't see where I am. What's happened? Are the paintings still on the wall?
Agnes looks around and Professor Vess is just squeezing the bridge of her nose. Mr. Shufflebawtam, could you please remove yourself from behind the tapestry?
Professor Vess, of course. Excuse me, 1 moment.
As you step from behind it and kind of half rip the tapestry from the wall, Arktimus, you felt the wall behind you give a little bit. And Professor Vess just kind of looks you up and I see the electroconverger. You haven't quite got it down, it seems.
No, not quite. Trial and error.
Oh. My little puddin' pop is really good with his hands. It's just a very, very dexterous little finger. I mean, he's got little sausage hands, but they're really good. They're really good, and he gives the best shoulder rubs ever. I come home some days from the office, and my back is just covered in knots. And my little Arky has magic fingers that just melt Mommy's back. It's
Arktimus hears a little voice in his head that says, "That's pretty fucking weird, bro."
Arky, what are you doing in Mommy's old clubhouse?
Well, I was in the library researching, and as I said, my armor went a bit haywire, and I don't really. My helmet dropped down, and my goggles of night failed, and I couldn't see my way, and I don't really know where I am. Your clubhouse, you say?
DM.
Yeah, go for it, Josh.
So, Bardic Inspiration, rules as written, is a creature that can hear you. I've got telepathic, so I can speak to people in their brains. Can I give Arktimus Bardic Inspiration by just, gently guiding him with the right things to say?
Yes, you can. I will allow you to speak 7 words before you'd have to roll to stealthily convey the rest of what you've said. So you have 7 words to speak to Arktimus to kind of help him with his lie.
Okay, so Araeus will say in Arktimus's brain, he'll say, "Just tell her that you're sorry. Cry."
You hear Araeus's voice in your brain.
Arktimus is going to do something that he hasn't done for many years, and he's hoping that the reflex is still there, which is to summon tears on command to get out of something he really didn't want to do, that his mother wanted to do, including the mummy and her little pumpkin ball for the 7th year running, where he had to wear that frock.
The trauma of wearing your gentleman's frock at the annual mother-son pumpkin ball just bubbles up inside you, and you can feel the tears catching. Give me a
performance
check with advantage. Yeah.
14 minus 1 is 13. Oh, does he have Bardic Inspiration or not, or was that a separate?
Oh, you would do. Yeah, you have Bardic Inspiration as well.
19.
The tears flow, Arktimus, and you start to shake a little bit. The memory is, it's gone back maybe about 10 years now, but it's still raw. And Professor Vess doesn't quite buy. You can see her. She's not so certain about the story you were spinning. It doesn't matter, because the second your lip starts trembling and your eyes start watering, Agnes kind of gingerly pushes her to one side and runs up and takes your non-gauntlet covered hand in her 2 little hands. Oh, my little bubble and squeak. Oh, what's Mommy's little farty? There's no need to cry. It's fine. It's fine. Professor Vess wanted me to get rid of all this stuff. You've just helped Mommy. It's fine. Don't cry. I know.
My head.
I'm Professor Vess. Look, my little Arky is a fragile little buttercup. Okay, he's under a lot of strain. He's. Oh, actually, give me a D4 for static damage.
Oh, yeah. 1.
You shock your mother with static, but she holds on. Like she's holding on. He's overworking himself in your labs to help your students, and he's got his own thesis to be doing, and he's hanging out with a rather unsavory, and they probably put him up to this as well, no doubt. This has Roz Graypurse, Happiness Tinderson, Araeus Simmar, and that Bonnie Verdante written all over it. God is my witness.
In the corner, a lamp holds out a hand crossbow. And he just goes back down.
Come on. Mommy's. We have to get you all cleaned up. We have to do something with all of this. And you have to get yourself to the summer solstice, don't you? Huh? Yeah? And do you know what? I've cleared my calendar. I've cleared my calendar, Arktimus, and I'm aware you were hoping to take Rosalinda. I have strong feelings about her. She's still in detention, it would seem. So I guess I'll be your date to the summer solstice.
Now the tears are real.
Tears of joy. Look, Professor Vest, tears of joy. He's so happy. His mom is accompanying him to such a high-profile event where wizards and witches across the world gather to celebrate our misty would-be graduates. Come on, Archie, come home with me. We'll get you into a nice bath, and I'll help detangle that hair of yours.
This would be a great moment for someone to use their total recall to say, actually, he was really happy about it.
As Arktimus is led away, yeah, don't cry for me, Argentina.
Agnes Shufflebawtam leads Arktimus out of the former clubhouse committee room, meeting room for the Heatherbirds Society. Professor Vess lingers for a moment, and her eyes drift around the room. And where Arktimus came from, she stares at the tapestry, just for a moment longer than needed, and her hand glances over the brooch pinned to her blouse. She fixes it, looks around the room once more, and kind of half waves a hand as she steps through the door. The door slams. All of you hear the chattering of a very excited cat goblin outside. And Araeus, you hear him telepathically whisper, "Wankers," under his breath as they leave. The three of you are in the room.
Uh-oh. Out of character, I would also like to remind everyone, pass without a trace, if I maintain my concentration lasts for an hour, including on Arky. So...
Okay.
Can I do like an insight check on that weird behaviour? I can ask that better. Hang on. Hey, what's going on with the weird thing that they did with the brooch touching and looking at the wall? Can I do some sort of check for that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, what would that be? A nature check?
Maybe an insight check there.
Insight. Okay.
Bonnie slides out from under the table on her back, like pushing herself back with her feet. Like,
Has she wild shaped into a tortoise?
she was thinking about turning into a horse, but she thought it wasn't the time.
That is a 13.
It's not so much. I mean, Professor Vess's body language shifted ever so slightly when Agnes and Arktimus left.
Okay.
Like, I mean, and you've encountered her a couple of times in the library, Araeus. You encountered her today. Vess is quite a formidable, confident, no-nonsense professor, takes everything very, very seriously and has this sort of air of, academia and arcane academia about her, in that, like, Mistian is this proper place where proper magic is studied. You made kind of note of kind of what she was doing at that exact moment, and her eyes drifted to the tapestry where Arktimus came from. She was looking at something there on the wall, but from where you currently are, you can't ascertain.
Okay. Araeus says nothing.
Bonnie and
Naruto jogs into the middle of the room.
Yeah, I've sort of slowly slugged my way out from under the table. in that she sort of undulates out in a weird way, straightens her little vest. Oh. Well, that wasn't good.
Happiness will slip out from behind the curtain, fixing her hair. That was both equally very weird and very intense. It was slightly hot.
I mean, it was hot. I mean, you cast a lot of fire stuff, so it was
That's what
quite
I meant.
warm.
And I was in the curtain. It's a heavy material. I don't love the velvet.
Toasty.
Yeah, very toasty. What do we do?
Araeus is just going to look around.
Well, we can't get the book with magic.
And he's just going to try jumping. He's just going to try jumping to get the book.
Give me an athletics check.
Athletics. Oh, but I'm a library geek. Oh, that's a 10.
Yeah, Araeus, you just start jumping. You jump about a foot off the ground, and you wave a hand up to get the book.
How high up?
It's 40 feet in the air.
How close was I?
Not
was I-
quite, but if you cup your hands, I can stand on it. If you throw me up, I used to do it in cheerleading all the time, and I get pretty high, off the ground, not drug-wise.
Yeah, I always used to be at the bottom of the pyramids in school, so I can go at the bottom and hold you, Happiness. I'll be fine.
That's great. Can you cup your hands, and then I'll stand on it with one foot, and you can just lift your hands up, and I can flip up there.
Okay, I'll try.
The sheer panic in Bonnie's voice there.
Bonnie's very strong in horse form, not so much in human form.
When I was at the bottom of the pyramid, they would just all stand on my back, and
Well, they told me if I moved that I couldn't be in the pyramid anymore, so I didn't move.
Give me an athletics check, Bonnie, as you cup your hands together and Happiness puts a foot in.
Apparently, I've summoned my past memories of staying perfectly still, and I got a 19.
Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, it's probably more, though, the absolute dread that you could potentially drop Happiness Tinderson on her
Could fling her anywhere. I've got to get this right.
Yeah. And you summon every ounce of strength in your body and just whoop. And Happiness, with all the grace and form of head cheerleader, it's like a swan dive into the air. Give me an acrobatics roll with advantage.
With advantage, okay. That first one's a 17, and the second one's a 16, so 17.
Arms and legs are in, you go straight up, and your hands go up. You do feel it feels a bit cold up here as you go up, but as you reach up, your hands find the rim of the book and the pages within and the torn spine. You grip, tuck, and you do a full roll in the air and come down, landing perfectly on Bonnie's shoulders.
I did something cool.
Oh my gosh, Bonbon!
We did it!
We did something amazing. Yeah.
We did it!
That was so good. I will never tell anyone you were here, but that was amazing.
It's fine. You don't. It's just the inner knowledge will be enough. Thank you.
Yeah. So good.
Let's do it again. No, wait, no.
No. Let's never.
If I was a horse, you could jump even higher, though.
All right, that's enough. Let's stop. Okay, so we have the book. Now what do we do?
Should we read it? We should read it.
I mean, I edited parts of it. It's steamy.
Oh. Maybe I shouldn't read it then.
We should probably get the other half of it first.
There's a look on Araeus' face that you guys have probably seen that's like, maybe I should read their thoughts about it.
Oh, no.
And then he puts that away.
A bell rings outside. It's 6 bells. It's gotten quite late into the evening. And the summer solstice is tonight.
Well, we do need to get Arky back because based on previous conversations, I know he will not want to go to the summer solstice with his mum.
I need to not go with any of you, so I might just go back and get ready. Do you guys, where do we keep this half book?
I mean, we have a whole 40 minutes left of people probably not noticing us, so we could hide it somewhere, or...
I've spent 20 years of no one noticing me.
Happiness, if you just stand in the middle of the two of us, probably, no one will notice.
I'm not going to risk it, but thank you for the suggestion. Okay, right, I will take it back to my room. I will get ready. I will see you all there from a distance.
Cool. Who's your date?
I don't need a date.
Didn't you ask Brian? You were talking about Brian.
No.
Or was that? He's just a friend?
Am I misremembering, DM? Do we have to have a date? I feel like there's a rule that said we have to have a date because it's a horny school.
There's usually you have a date at these things. It's that sort of scene to be with. It's like power couples would often show off together.
Okay.
This is the summer solstice is all students are welcome, all alumni are welcome, professors attend, and even merchants and people from Mystian City like to come to this. Obviously, they pay for tickets and so on and so forth. But this is it's a black tie affair, and this year it's a masquerade.
Oh no! Araeus will say to Bonnie, "Yeah, who are you going with?"
Oh, currently no one. I did hope that my friend from a different university that I was writing to would come visit, but...
Oh yeah, I have a friend who's from Fantasy Canada.
Yeah, I met them on my gap year, and they're definitely real.
Mine also very real.
Yeah.
Should
sad, yeah.
we blend into the background as together as friends?
Sure. Friends, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But if my date turns up, because I haven't had the letter back yet, so they might still come.
Sure, yeah, and mine also from Fantasy Canada.
Oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to unpack here as the GM, and both as someone listening to that. First is, I now have to make Fantasy Canada a thing in the world.
No, you don't. You absolutely don't.
Canada. Fantasia Canada. Small little kingdom up the north.
Yeah, you haven't heard of it.
Oh, God. Bonnie and Araeus, take inspiration.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, it was so uncomfortable. I'll tell you things about horses.
Thanks. I mean, my friend, if they come, they're really into birds, so we were going to exchange information. I have a load of facts ready, so hopefully they'll come.
Cool.
I can tell you about horses right now. Did you know?
Is that when the harp comes in and the time jump?
Are ye? So you're done? You've got the book. Happiness is going to go to her dorm. You're going to go to your room.
I got to tell you, DM, as a player, I want to investigate that wall. My character don't know what's going on, so
I do think Bonnie was looking through the table. Could have seen Professor Vess also looking if we want to investigate. But
I don't mind. It's up to ye.
I also want to rescue poor
Oh shit, we forgot about Ross. Where's Ross?
There is a slight chance, depending on perhaps how good Bonnie's eyes are, peeking through the hole. Arktimus, correct me if I'm wrong, he was not very well covered by the tapestry. So, I mean, it's possible there might have been a very slightly, almost imperceptible give in the wall, depending on how hard his ass hit it.
Okay, how about, as we're sort of talking about leaving, Bonnie is in the habit of, like, she likes to check everything is, right. Because things have happened in the past, she's walked out there with loo roll on her shoe, and she likes to just check everything before she goes nowadays, make sure everything is just so. And obviously this room is trashed, but she's like, okay, go through my mind palace, how was it before? So she's kind of like, is there anything different than it was before? And tries to think through, did she see anything that she would want to check before she would leave?
You can give me an investigation check, Bonnie.
Oh, I'm not terrible. 3. Nope, it's all fine. It's a mess.
Everything's fine. Yeah, the room's in an absolute mess. Other than that,
I mean, I did cast a whole load of vines in here, so I guess I wouldn't remember anyway. Right, let's go rescue.
That's it for part 3 of the Roz Graypurse After School Special. As always, a big thank you to our special guests, Emma, Bonnie, Ben and Josh, for their phenomenal roles as Roz Graypurse's best ? Friends. We're back in 2 weeks for another episode. Until then, do make sure you're following us on social media at D8 Dungeon. At the end of this month, we've got a very special Halloween adventure coming to you live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/D8 Dungeon. As Halloween's like Valentine's Day. It can be romantic, it can be sweet, it can be full of nightmares. So do check us out for Most Ghosted, a Romancing the Dungeon one-shot coming to you at the very end of October. Until then, see you next time.